And so what this is about is money, Joy.
Yeah.
This is not about anything else. It's about this country trying to avoid paying African Americans our due.
Well, and also,
so she's talking about she feels like she should be part of reparations along with other African Americans, but it doesn't stop there, folks.
I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, you know, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was. My family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Oh yes, they were.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life.
Of course it is, you
this
idiot.
Is how some people made their living.
It's not that surprising that you have slave owners. I mean, you look like you could pass for white anyway. All right. But yes, this is Sunny Candyland Hostin.
Where is my beautiful sister?
She did own slaves. All right. She has a whole in her family tree, which she found out, was exposed that she has was likely born in her paternal third great grandfather was likely born enslaved in Georgia, while her maternal ancestry included a merchant likely involved in the slave trade and another ancestor who owned at least one a slave. All right. And we saw that this was affirmed on her ancestry. Okay. So this is what I want to talk about. You know, she continues to push this idea of reparation when in her own family tree exposes the central flaw in this race-based reparations. In modern America, who exactly owes whom? Shelley?
well, before I respond to that, I do want to make a note. I hope you all caught this. Notice the shock, the glee. She was twice as gleeful about it because she said she and her husband had similar roots. So they got two sets of slave owners and they were kind of excited about it. I mean, hell, she didn't look like she was too shocked. She might have been shocked, but she didn't look too upset about it. She was making a point. Oh, my husband and I, that's good for our family, our children to know. We had slaves. Thank you, Master Sonny. Thank you, Master Sonny. They had the slaves and they loved it. This is another way for Sonny Hostin of the world and her husband, who was alleged to have been in a medical scam as well, a medical scam. This is another way for them to basically use this reparations grift, okay? She wants to be so badly on the bandwagon of helping the people and her sisters and brothers, and this wench is from slave history, a slave-owning family. So this is a grift. Who's going to pay? Is she going to pay herself? Is her husband's family going to pay her? Or is she going to pay her husband's family? Which way is it? No, she's thinking that she's supposedly on behalf of the rest of us who didn't have the fair skin, okay? We couldn't be the house niggas, and we certainly weren't the slave owners. She thinks she's working on our behalf to get us reparations. No, Sonny, this is the grift. You're lying, and I think you're gleeful about it. I think she's gleeful about being able, her family history of owning other people, the people that she sees as low, like those cops that she stood down with her son, the lowly people. This lowly people theme has been going all through the show tonight. These are the kind of people, these elitists who think that they are above and beyond the rest of us. They're not. Don't let them beat you down with that. They're not. Just remember, Sonny, you and your husband were slaveholders, or at least your families were, and you're happy about it. Don't buy into this grift that they're working on our behalf, because you'll never see a dime of the reparations money.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Nicole, let's be real. I mean, yes, slavery was a horrible institution, a horrible, thing that went on, is still going on to this day in other parts of the country. But I mean, if it wasn't for slavery, we'd all be like this.
Oh my gosh, thank God for slavery.
I mean, really, I I mean, when are we going to start talking about putting the truth out there, folks? You know, this is what if we hadn't been for this slavery, we'd be over in some bush somewhere eating.
Can't take it.
Monkey Crunch. Monkey Crunch. Monkey
Lord
Crunch.
have mercy.
Monkey Crunch.
You know what's so bad about the whole thing is, you know, if reparations are going to be paid, who should be the payor, right? Should it be the African nations where ancestors came from that were sold into slavery? Would it be the people who brought you here, the people who held you here? There's so many working parts to that. But for Sunny and her family, what I saw when she got that pronouncement about her family was not shock and disappointment. You know, she had a pretty elitist face going, well, of course we held slaves. That was the order of the day. Of course. It's really sickening. You know, America has come a very long way. Slavery was a horrible institution. It was absolutely mind-boggling. The amount of pain and anguish that happened during that period of American history. But let's focus on how far we've come since then, right? Let's focus on how no one is crunching on monkeys.
I'm sorry, I read the comments.
Monkey Crunch.
Let's not do monkey crunch. Look how far we've come. And there's no need for extra hot sauce. You know, just...
Folks, people do that. I know personally people who have
Play it again.
done it. No, I don't want to mess anybody up, but
No, play it again. Come on, let's Monkey Crunch. There's Nestle Crunch, and then there's Monkey Crunch.
yeah. I mean, folks, that's a true video. That's someone in Africa. I don't know which country, and they're eating
Monkey Crunch. Play it again. Hit it one more time.
What's up, everybody? This is Poppin' Politics. Get your merch. Are you a Poppin' Politics fan? Are you unapologetically American? Or not black, not white American? We got it all for you right here. Get your merch.
Get the classic shirt. Classic. Goes with everything, comes in a variety of colors. Smart, edgy, conservative, like us, like you. This is a great way to support the channel. Click the merch button.
There is no shame in being an American. Get your shirt today and be unapologetic about it. Get your shirt, wear it, and be a proud American.
You can get it all in t-shirts and hoodies. You can get it in stickers, on bags. You can get it all on our website, metroconservativemedia.com, or our YouTube page, Pop and Politics, and tag over to store. You can get your merch and show you're proud to be an American and support Pop and Politics. I mean, it's just terrible. I'm not going to hit it with, but it's terrible.
Right. One more time.
But this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. But I want to go deeper on this. You know, this whole talk of reparations. Okay, now, first of all, I'm not going to pretend history didn't happen. We all know that slavery happened, but we are also not going to chain living Americans today to the sins of dead people. All right? And this is what she tries to do. This guilt is personal. The responsibility is personal. You know, judge people by what they do, not by the color of their skin or the blood in their family tree, Sonny, slaveholder Hostin. So if we're serious about helping struggling Americans like the left says they are, then deal with the real problems in front of us, like failing schools, violent crime, broken families. Okay? Help people based on actual need, not their racial ancestry.
Right.
But this is what they try to do. They play on emotions. That's what this is. This argument. It's an emotional ploy to keep us living in the past and not moving forward to the future.
Do you know what's going to be interesting is the closer we get to the midterms, you're going to hear this ramp up. You're going to see them rolling out every race baiter they can every time they have an opportunity to, because it does motivate a particular subset of Black people. It motivates them. It encourages white guilt. So it motivates that part of their base. They're going to do what they need to do to turn out the vote. And again, folks, this is not about righting a wrong, because they had 8 years of Barack Obama. I don't even want to, maybe 6 months of Joe Biden, technically. He was still the president, but he wasn't all there. All of his marbles weren't rolling in the same direction. They have had ample opportunity to make reparations, if that is indeed what they intended to do. But they continue to use it as the ace in their pocket, their trump card, if you will, to motivate a certain subset of Americans to do what they want them to do. And it is disgusting and it's sick, but it's effective. It's effective. And again, winning elections is what this is all about. Don't lose sight of that. Winning an election is what it's about. Getting power, retaining power is what this is all about. So when you see all these race baiters coming out and they got some new thing, they're arguing about, you guys remember when they shut the government down earlier this year and people were like, oh God, we're shutting the government down over healthcare. When was the last time you heard Democrats mention healthcare? Right. Yeah. Right. I'm going to wait, but I'm not going to hold my breath. It was a ploy. It was a ploy to trigger something in people to say, oh my God, they're trying to take away my healthcare. These horrible Republicans, we can't vote for them. You're going to see that same thing ramp up, that very same thing ramp up. And I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to see conservatives and Republicans ramp up the Americana, ramp up the patriotism, ramp up how great this nation can be, make America great again. You're going to see lots and lots of hats. You're going to see lots and lots of people waving the flag. There's a reason for that. These elections have to be won by people who are going to either change our culture to something that we don't recognize or maintain the American way of life. And for both sides, it's life or death. And they're going to do what they got to do to win.
Absolutely. And the thing that makes me so upset about this is their outrage is so fake. Okay, folks, 50 million people live in modern day slavery right now. All right, right now. Forced labor, debt bondage, forced marriage, trafficking. All right. This is all, you can find this information right on the Walk Free's Global Slavery Index. Okay, the GSI. Roughly 28 million are in forced labor, 22 million in forced marriage, and annual illegal profits from forced labor alone are 236 billion with a B. Okay, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait. All these places still have modern day slavery. India, China, North Korea, as I mentioned, Pakistan, Russia, Indonesia, Nigeria, Turkey, Bangladesh, all of these places. You don't hear the left talking about this in these areas. No, you hear about them talking about USAID sending money over to these areas. They want to fund it. These people are sick. They're sick and they make me sick.